Today I'm going to give you 5 tips on getting started to flip houses in 2022, and you don't have to use your own money. Tip number 1, you got to find a deal. What is a deal? Well, a deal is 70% of ARV minus repair. I'm going to repeat that. 70% of ARV. That's after rehab value. That means after you've spent your money, what is that house worth? So if the house is going to be worth $100,000 on its best day, you need to buy that house at 70% or $70,000, then minus the repair. So you got $70,000 minus repair. Let's say it takes you $20,000 to fix that house. You need to buy that house at $50,000. So you've got to convince that seller to take that. And that's not always so easy. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can either throw those numbers at the seller, and for a left-brain person that works really well, and you teach that seller, this is what it's going to cost me in order to do everything I have to do to fix your house and make a deal. It's got to be a win-win for both of us. Or you can shut up and listen to the seller. The seller is always going to tell you what they need. They need to have a place to go in order to sell their house, or they need someone to remove all the contents in order to sell their house. So if you shut up and you listen, you will get your deal. So you may be saying, where am I going to find these deals? Well, that's a great question. One thing you might want to use as a new investor, which I highly encourage all new investors to use, is a product that gives you a list source. Those lists are going to give you lists of names with addresses that you as a new investor can find the ones in your neighborhood. Go there and knock on that door. That is the cheapest way to get one. We use Real Estate IQ. And the reason I use Real Estate IQ is because it gives me so many list sources for one price. I get probate, pre-foreclosure, divorce, code violations. There's more lists in there than I can actually use, and we splish them all up and use different ones at different times. You can use whatever list source you want. We love Real Estate IQ, so I've put a link in the description below. Tip number 2, you need a cash source. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can have your own money and spend it if you want. You can do that. Or you can use hard money. Hard money is a special loan just for investors. The only catch with a hard money loan is they're going to want you to have some of your own skin in the game. So it is a short-term loan. It's going to have higher points. Points are like a percentage of what you're borrowing. So it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 points, right? So if it's a $100,000 loan, that would be 2 to 4% or $2,000 to $4,000. You're going to pay that up front. Then it has a higher interest rate on that. But don't get caught up in that, and don't let that scare you, because these are short-term loans. These are loans for you to get in there and buy that house, fix that house, and sell that house, right? So you don't care really that it's 12 to 14%. You're worried about, can I get my first deal? Can I make this baby pop? And you can. Use that hard money in the beginning if you have to, because there's no shame in that. And I'll tell you something, if a hard money lender says no to your deal, you don't have a deal. They will lend on just about anything. Now, the best option always is private money, which is what we use mostly. And private money is where you have created this network of other investors who don't want to do the work, but they have money they want to make money on, and they want to make some 10% on their money. So they come to you and offer you their money. We're going to make a separate video on just private money. So that one will teach you a little more on how to make those relationships, how to make a prospectus, and how to sell yourself to someone who has the money for you to do your deal. Tip number 3, you got to build your team. Who are you going to need to build this house? Because you can't do it on your own. You need contractors. So we have another video out there on just vetting contractors. You need to have realtors. Yes, I said realtors on your team. Realtors are one of your greatest assets in that we're not going to buy the houses that are nice and pretty that they're putting on MLS, right? But they get houses they can't put onto MLS. We're looking for the distressed homeowner, the house with 40,000 cats. They need to sell that house, so they're going to come to us. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. Do not skimp on your realtor. That's an easy deal when a realtor brings you a deal, so treat them right. You need to assess your own skills. Are you going to put some sweat equity into this? Remember that if you are putting sweat equity, that's your time, and your time is valuable, so it's not freebie, but you have one of 2 things. You either have money or you have time. So if you don't have time, and you have the money, you hire somebody for that. But if you don't have enough money and you have a lot of time, you can do some of the sweat equity. I'm going to caution you from going into a flip underfunded. You always want to make sure you have enough funds for whatever happens. You want some contingency money. And then the last thing is there's some online resources where you can go out and get free education like you're getting right now. And we have some other videos as well on real estate investment associations. And those are great opportunities for you to go out and network as well. So you need to build that team. Tip number 4, you need to get the right insurance. And what I mean by that is you need the right insurance policy. So one of your team members that we just went over should be your insurance agent. You need to get a builder's risk policy while you're doing your flip. It's very important that you get that right policy. If you get an inexperienced insurance agent who sells you a tenant policy or something while you're flipping this house and something happens, guess what? The house wasn't rented. They don't have to pay out. You want to make sure that you have the exact right type of insurance. You may have Uncle Bob, who has been your insurance agent forever, but he doesn't do investment properties. You need a new insurance agent, or Uncle Bob needs to learn some new tricks, because it's very important that you have the right insurance. And when you're finished with your flip, you need to change that policy to then a vacant dwelling policy. If you have any questions about that, leave it in the comments. Tip number 5, the most important tip, is you need to do it. You need to flip the house. That's right, just flip the house. Get off of your butt, buy the house, fix the house, sell it. It's time to do it. You can sit here and watch me all day long. Please subscribe. Or you could go out there, find that house, fix that house, and sell it. Let's do it. So with all that money you just made, you're going to want to know about taxes, and we have a video for that too.